My husband had the gall to tell me the other day that, hey, we're already a quarter through the year. And that was in March, so now we can say that we're actually about a third through the year. But existential crisis scene aside, time is a soup after all, it did make me want to look at my log of board games that I've been playing already and just see how many games I actually have played over these past 4 months. And I thought I'd share it with you all. So without further ado, let's get started. So, in total, since the start of this year that I've logged, that I can remember, I think I've logged, as far as I know, I've logged all of these correctly and haven't missed a game. I have played 30 different or unique board game titles, and I've played 49 different times altogether. So now I'm just going to go through the list and kind of talk about the ones that I want to talk about as they come up, just like a brief overview, not anything too in-depth. So the first game that we played for this year was a game called Wondrous Creatures, which is kind of a Pokemon mythical creature Everdell-esque feeling game for me. The artwork is gorgeous. They have not only a beautiful box, but like all of the creatures are beautifully drawn and unique, and again, very like mythical, but you're also you have really cute little characters, like creatures that you ride on depending on what color you are, and then you have your own little meeple that can ride on top of your creature, which is just adorable and satisfying, and that gives you like an extra bonus to be able to do like an extra action. But you take your creature and you place it on the hexagonal map, trying to get as many resources as possible in order to pay for your cards. And you're collecting cards, so it's like a deck building a little bit. You're collecting cards to place them in your tableau, again, very Everdell. And each card has like different effects. So some are end game bonuses or end game victory points, or they give you an action immediately, or it's one of those fulfillment actions where it's if you do this, when you do this, you'll get extra bonus resources or an ability that you can do. You also collect eggs, which is really cute, and there are different types of species of eggs that you can collect eggs, which will be worth points at the end if you don't flip them, but you can also flip your eggs or hatch your eggs in order to, again, to do like extra bonus actions. But yeah, this game was super cute and definitely enjoyed it. I'll have to play it again. And then the second game, another really cute game we played, which I actually got as a present. I gave as a present to my brother-in-law and sister because they both love dogs so much. It's called Forever Home, and it's a very cute, quick, easy, grid-like game where you're fitting pieces you're creating patterns on your grid in order to adopt certain dogs or place them, adopt certain dogs from like different areas of the town. There's community bonuses or community objectives that you're trying to reach it first, or to have the most type of the same type of dog. There's different colors and breeds, and again, you're just doing pattern matching grid layout in order to fulfill those requirements in order to adopt more dogs or foster more dogs. And again, there's 4 different categories or 4 different places in order for you to get those end game points. It's very simple, it's very quick, and it's also really cute because it has just a bunch of cute little doggies that you're trying to put in forever homes, and it's just really sweet. Then we played Slay the Spire, Biblios, Quill and Parchment, Trekking the World 2nd edition, which was cool, and then Tales of the Arthurian Knights. I didn't even know that there were different Tales games were like genre of games. I had never played one of those before, and of course, I've stated it before on this channel, but I love Arthur and like medieval fantasy and like the mythos of Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table and all that stuff. So the Tales of Arthurian Knights is literally like a big chongus book of over 1,000 different scenarios, and what you're doing is you're playing as a certain Knight of the Round Table. You're going out and going for different objectives, traveling the map, and each time that you go, each place that you land on brings up a certain scenario, and you'll draw cards, and they're randomized so that you almost never get the same scenario twice, as best as you can when you're shuffling the deck. But there's 4 different types of skills that you can acquire. There's like diplomacy, there's hand-to-hand combat, there's magic, there's all of that. And so depending on what you choose from the situations, you're trying to improve each skill to get, to win each objective. And it's just really fun. You take turns going around the table, reading these scenarios out loud. And it's just really fun, especially if you like that kind of role-playing / just storytelling type of game. And so love this game. Have really enjoyed playing it with my sister and brother-in-law. And we played this so far 3 times, because if you can probably guess that these games take a few hours each. The next game we played was a game called River of Gold, which apparently is based off of a TCG trading card game called Legend of the Five Rings, which is something my husband used to play, and he really enjoyed that trading card game. But yeah, it's like, I think it's like just based in the world. It doesn't really have anything to do with like that type of gameplay, but again, just set in the world. And it's a beautiful river with like a golden inlay, which is really nice. And there are 6 different districts or clans. I can't remember, because we played it once. And it was really cool though, because you're setting up shops in each district. And if you set up shop in that district, you move your personal player piece in that district like up a certain amount of spaces, depending on how like expensive it is or how many points or spaces it tells you to move up in order to get extra bonuses. You're collecting supplies to again build those different types of shops in each district. And you also have 2 boats that are going along the River of Gold, and that's how you collect your resources. So if you set up shops on your route, you're going to collect more resources, kind of thing. The way that the board is laid out, you have like districts or sections of 4, so you can collect up to 4 different resources in each section of the river, if that makes sense. So anyway, it was a neat game. I enjoyed the uniqueness of the track, I guess, in order to like play. It made me think a lot actually of Iki, but instead of going around in like a circle for the market, you're just going down the river and then going down the river again. We have played Dune Imperium Uprising, Arc Nova, and like these board games that I'm listing, I'm not going over each and every one, because especially like Dune Imperium Uprising and Arc Nova, I've talked about before on my channel. I will link a board game playlist above, so if you want to hear a more in-depth review and feelings about each of these board games, you can watch that playlist there. But we did Arc Nova, and then we played Bitoku with the new expansion I got for my birthday, which is the Resutoran expansion. Probably butchered that, but that one includes 3 different types of new gameplay or aspects. There's new yokai cards, which are doubles, so you have it representing 2 of the creatures, which is really nice, and they obviously add more bonuses because it's like representing 2 of the yokai, which is awesome. They have a whole restaurant food theme cards, which are basically like extra abilities that you can do, and again, depending on the season and what actions you're doing, that's when you get to play the card, and again, it will give you bonus actions and things, which is really nice. And then the third thing is it's like a festival aspect to it, and so basically every time you get a new vision card or have your pilgrim go onto one of the towers or temples, you can pull a new, I guess the festival is a part of it, that's pulling the new like restaurant food cards, which is really nice. I did remember the third aspect, so the festival and the food is the same aspect, and the third aspect is there are new river treasures, which are very nice and different ways than not just if you are the first on the track you get points, but there's also, depending on where you are on the track, you get in-game bonuses. So again, just more variety in gameplay overall, which is really nice. Okay, so Bitoku, we played a game called Rebirth, which was really cool. We played Planet Unknown. This year, I don't know if just sci-fi is just such a big genre of board games, or just how it works with the board game, like the type of board games that people are coming out with, but we've played a lot of new sci-fi planet themed board games this year, and Planet Unknown is one of the first ones that we did, which I know my brother-in-law kickstarted, and that one has just such ridiculous amount of gameplay, which is very nice, replayability. But yeah, you have different, again, it's more like a grid-like layout where each person has their own unique planet, and there's a turn tile aspect to the game that you get to choose where people are taking the tiles from to fill up your planet. Depending on where you place your tile and the type of tile you're placing, that is going to get you and move up your little jubies on your own personal science space track. So you'll get more water or plantage or like electricity or fire or like resources, different resources. And as well as the farther up on the track you go, the more levels you unlock in order to have bonuses or like easier gameplay, things like that, as well as collecting little cards in order, I can't think of what they're called, but little cards in order to have, again, end game bonuses or new round bonuses or immediate actions that you could take. Again, victory points, all of that stuff. And it was a very fun, not only are there two-sided game mats, but they're, again, totally different planets, which will affect your gameplay and like where you can place your tiles, as well as all these little moons, which we didn't play with the moons the first time around since it was our first gameplay. But yeah, replayability out the wazoo. And also you have cute little rovers that you can move around on your planet in order to collect, again, more resources. After Planet Unknown, we played Three Sisters. And then a game my husband and I both really looked forward to was a game called Mistborn, the deck building game. So Mistborn is based off of a very popular fantasy book written by Brandon Sanderson. It's a trilogy, and this game is obviously based on that, but it's a really good deck building game. Depending on the character you choose, you have different game bonuses, in-game bonuses that you can accomplish as you move up the track of your training track, your Mistborn track, and you move that each turn so that you always know that you're going to get to that certain level, which is exciting, as well as, again, deck building. And my favorite component, honestly, is the medals, which is a key point of the story of Mistborn if you haven't read it. And there are 8 different medals, and depending on the medals you choose to use, you can, I always get this wrong, you burn metal, which allows you to use cards and their abilities, and then you can choose an extra metal and flare that metal, which will make you turn over that metal, which is like used, and you use it up. But in order to do that, so you can take a secondary action. And the more you train, the more metals that you can burn and use. So there's more actions you take as the game goes on. And again, the metal component is really cool. You can also use your cards, instead of doing the action, you can use it to refill your metal reserves in order to, again, do more actions. So super fun gameplay, great utilization of the themes of the story. And again, we had a really fun time doing that game. And after Mistborn, the deck building game, we played Twice as Clever, Swoop or Sweep, Critter Kitchen, which I talked about in a different video, Thunder Road Vendetta, That's Pretty Clever, Cat in the Box. We played Spirit Island with a expansion, the Branch and Claw expansion, which was really fun, Quacks of Quedlinburg. And then here again are the other sci-fi games that we played, Arcs, which Arcs was definitely a harder game to learn. I mean, it's supposed to be more complex because it's a trick-taking game. And again, you're using cards. There's 4 different suits of cards which allow you to do different types of actions depending on that suit, as well as the number value of your card will determine if you get to play first, which is very important, because if you are the first player, you determine not only the suit that has to be played, but also you can declare a objective basically for the round, a winning objective for the round. I can't think of what the actual term is called. I'll put it in the video. But you get to basically determine what is the winning component for that round and what gets you victory points for that round. So it's a very strategic game in that regard, not just with building your deck, but you can also take prisoners, you can hire people that gives you in-game bonuses, you can also just battle with your ships, which is very fun, and you're also building cities and ship or repair stations to like repair your ships and also deploy your ships. So it was a very complicated game, but it was really neat. And then the other space game was Andromeda's Edge. Andromeda's Edge we played twice because we really enjoyed that one. And again, similar, it's space themed. You are deploying different types of spaceships, which will allow you to do different things on the board, as well as you're collecting resources. You're moving up 5 different victory point tracks depending on what you're choosing to do. You're building different modules, or I can't think of the word, but like there's 4 different categories of modules that will give you energy, which is a resource. It will give you end game victory points, different actions that you can take, so on and so forth. Andromeda's Edge was really fun, and I think it's a little bit more intuitive, a little bit easier than Arcs, but again, very neat, both games. But yeah, we played Andromeda's Edge twice, because again, it was the first game was just learning, and the second game we're like, okay, we're honing in, we're actually being much more competitive. You can again battle ships together. You can build structures, and there's only 3 of each type of structure, so you can have a monopoly on that, and then that would give you a lot of victory points at the end. There's exploration. There are aliens, enemies that come in that you also have to fight against, which will also cause in-game problems. So a lot of variability to this game, but it was very fun. After Arcs and Andromeda's Edge, we have Hues and Cues, which was a party game that I was really excited to get. I actually got it for myself for my birthday because I'm a big fan of colors. I'm a graphic designer. I went to school for graphic design, so like the Pantone color grid-esque just spoke to me. But I thought, I went in pretty smug thinking, I'm going to do really well at this game. I did not win. My mom creamed us. But it was a very fun game to play with my family to see what people came up with for their clues, and it's a very quick, easy color guessing game. Well, not easy, because it was hard. It's hard to think of words to give to people that everybody would know and that would give the vibes for the Hues and Cues. But it was a very fun game. I'm glad I got it. After Hues and Cues, Everdell Farshore, Earth, love that game. The Quest for El Dorado, which was a new game that I hadn't heard of, but it is a deck building racing game. So you're just collecting cards in order to move further on the track. And again, they're very much like Thunder Road Vendetta or Cubitos. There's just a lot of game mats, so there's a lot of variability in how your race can be made. And there was even, my brother-in-law printed out a bunch of fan-made racetracks, so there is a lot of replayability also with this one. The card collecting aspect of this game was very intuitive. You only have 3 different types of cards or 3 different types of actions or spaces that you can move on to further into the map in order to get to the finish line, El Dorado first. And that's the main bonus. You can kind of take your time and like really hone your deck in order to hopefully get to the end first, but there's also just something about having more cards in your deck probably than you should, but if you get to the finish line first, it doesn't really matter. That was a really fun game. And the last 2 games that I've played thus far were Arboretum and Patchwork. And so with that, those were all of the games that I have played thus far in 2025. Again, 30 different game titles and almost 40 different, or almost 50? Almost 50 rounds of playing games. So I think I'm doing pretty well so far, and I think I'm going to continuously beat the last year's amount of games that I have played. So far we've gotten to 90, so maybe I'll reach 100 this year. Who knows? Seems like I could get there, at least in unique game titles. But anyway, let me know what you thought of this video. I'm probably going to do this more or less in terms of the board game videos of just kind of doing every quarter, talking about the different games that I have played thus far this year. And again, quick reviews, quick feelings and vibes off of all the different board games. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be back next week for another art video. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. My husband had the gall to a very popular... Is it sci-fi? Sci-fi, no, it's more fantasy, yeah. And depending on where you place your planet, or place your tile, but the collecting board game, the card collecting game, the card collecting aspect of my brother-in-law